Nice. Hey, 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 everybody. Let me just welcome everybody before we get started. Nice job on the music crew. Very good job. That was seamless. Beautiful. There's the basement crew. Hey, guys. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome, welcome. If this is your first Zoom, welcome, welcome. We'll give a chance to meet you if you're first time or a little bit later. Everybody starts out muted. A little bit later, I'll tell you how to get yourself unmuted to share questions. Welcome to the new people and all those good things. But for right now, let me give you just a quick tip on your Zoom. If you're new to Zoom, the best feature to use would be your speaker view versus gallery view. It makes it easier. It depends on what kind of device that you're using on where to find that. But there's a feature, speaker view versus gallery view. The speaker view, if you click on that way to view the screen, you'll be just seeing the speaker versus all the individual screens. That can be kind of distracting. There's lots of people tuning in from near and far. So we got lots of people here tonight. We welcome you all. Lots of great faces, lots of good energy. So we're going to have a good time tonight. So we have something fun and new to start out the night. Travis, can you remind me of who's gonna the special question? We're having a contest tonight, and we have a special question. Is it going to be Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby's doing the trivia on Tuesdays.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So Bobby, let's introduce Bobby. Let me put you guys on spotlights. This is Bobby. So, okay, Bobby, go ahead.
All right. The trivia question is: how many pounds has Art lost since the diet began?
Okay.
The first right answer wins. Winner will be announced at the end of the show. Please text your answers tonight to Angie at 253-334-2233. Again, the question is, how many pounds has Art lost since his diet began?
All right. So let me tell you what the winner's going to get. The winner's going to get this awesome Battlefield mug, the highly coveted mug. The only way that people got this mug, have ever gotten this mug in the past, is our $100 monthly partners. So we have monthly partners who support our organization, Battlefield Addiction. Battlefield Addiction is the nonprofit organization, and we're raising funds for scholarship funds and all kinds of fun stuff that Becky can share a little bit more about that. I'll put her on the spot maybe a little later. But we have monthly partners, $25 a month, $50 a month, all the way up to $100. And this has been a special perk for our $100 monthly partners. And it's a really awesome, heavy duty, handcrafted mug with our logo on it. So this is what the winner of this contest is going to get. And so, like Bobby said, you got to text me at 253-334-2233. You can text me with your answer. How many pounds has Art lost since his diet began in January? And the first person with the right answer, because there might be multiple people, but the first person who texts me, and I'll be looking a little later, I'm not going to look at my phone right now, but the first person who texted me the right answer will announce at the end of the show tonight. All right? All right. And do we have, Battlefield Moms group? Thank you, Travis, keeping me on track with what's next. So if you don't already know, we have a moms group every Wednesday at 11 a.m. It's a 1-hour coffee date for us moms on Zoom. So BYOC, bring your own coffee or tea or green drink, which Kristen does each week. This is our opportunity for all of us moms to connect, process what the topic was from the night before that Art spoke on, to discuss anything going on. Maybe some moms need a little extra support some weeks. Just an opportunity for us to get to know each other. It's been really, really great. We've been doing it for a little over a month now, and it's just been really great. So we love all the moms who have already joined us. And if you haven't joined us yet, you're welcome to pop in anytime. You don't have to commit to every week. If you can't make it, just pop in when you can, and that's okay. If you don't already have the Zoom link, you can text me, Facebook me, email me, whatever, to get the link, and I'll send it to you. And then it's the same link each week. So once you have it, then you have it. So that's that. What's next, Travis? Do we have Kyle's comedy?
Oh, right. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, we'll go right into Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner.
Great. We've got some Kyle. So let me take me off here. All right, Kyle. What do you got this week?
What's green and has wheels? Grass. I lied about the wheels. Fucking awesome. What does a nosy pepper do? It gets all up in your business.
That was good. That was good.
What do you call a parade of rabbits hopping backwards? Receding hairline.
Yeah.
Do you know why I feel bad for any people that have to clean up a pro basketball player's bathroom? Because they always dribble.
Logan loves it.
What breed of dog can jump higher than a Space Needle? Well, any dog, a Space Needle can jump. What do you call a train carrying bubble gum?
What?
A choo-choo train.
Yeah.
How do you count cows? A calculator.
Yeah.
What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Last joke.
Thank God.
I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but you know, I turned myself around.
All right, Kyle.
Oh, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, thank you. And for those of you who might not know, they are broadcasting live from Rebuild Recovery there in Kent, so that you can see the crew there in the background. And these young people in recovery have really contributed just various different things to this Tuesday night. So the music, and next week we have a special treat coming. There's two young men that play guitar and sing. Bobby and Logan will be, they are practicing. They weren't quite ready to go live tonight, but next week they will be coming live with a song for you guys. So that's going to be fun. But this crew here is pretty cool, and it's been a lot of fun seeing them create. So more to come in the coming weeks. And so now we'll hand it over to Art.
I think it's awkward listening to Kyle's jokes on Zoom. Imagine being here.
Those are the jokes that made me cut.
Yeah.
I will say it was a little bit hard to hear on this end, so we're going to want to improve that next week. I think he's too far away from the microphone that we're going to want to tweak that a little bit.
Liz, will you turn that light off behind you? Okay. How's my sound, Ange?
Your sound's good.
Okay. We ready?
Yes.
There's no other announcements or anything. Is there? I want to make sure that tonight, hopefully we get the new people to step up and ask questions and kind of see where this came from, or
let me double check. Sorry, Art. I'm not positive that the sound's okay. What do you think, Wiggins? Yeah. Let's. What can we do to improve that sound? Mine's all the way up, so.
How's that?
Say a few sentences.
Okay, how are we? How's it sound?
Needs to be on that.
Much better.
Is it good?
Yes. Let's keep it right there.
It's like I live in a really kind of dawned on me today. And I was laying in my room, and I could hear everybody out here, and I really have gotten this idea in my head now that I live in a science lab, that I'm kind of like in some kind of weird laboratory that we're all in, stuck like working on each other and looking at each other and examining each other. And it's this scientific experiment of how you could put, a bunch of people in our house is more like this group room is not really a group room. It seems to be.
Gosh, I don't want to be really annoying here, but I don't know why it changed.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm struggling to hear every other word.
Everything's the same.
Maybe you put it forward in front of me rather than.
You're right there. You're perfect. And then it changes.
How's it going right here?
It's perfect right there.
Okay.
Yep, that's great.
Are we sure we're good?
Are you talking louder right now, Art?
No.
And then you don't project as much?
No, I'm not talking
That
about.
should be better right there, Angie.
How's that?
That's great. If we can keep it right there.
We good?
Yes.
Okay, we'll try it like this for a while.
Great.
If it's all good, we'll keep going until it gets right.
Okay.
So it's really like, been doing this for 10 years. We've been in with addicts, but we've never been able to get this close of an examination. It's never been a way that I could get here and actually get around it in a way that I saw it scientifically or almost, really, really, actually, that's the way I look at it now. It's almost a scientific thing that we're doing here. It's not like philosophical. It's not, no longer does it seem to be some like, I don't know, thing about even my own recovery. I think when I started my own recovery, I just assumed that what recovery was just this thing that you just didn't do drugs and you tried not to do drugs. And that seemed to me like that's what it was. Well, I'm just going to try not to do drugs. That's the thing. I'm going to stay sober. And, I think that is the great idea behind getting clean. I think getting clean, that's the idea. You're going to get clean. You're just going to like hold on and then you're not going to do drugs today. And then they say like, just do that. You can do that one more day. You're going to try not to do drugs today. This is important that you don't do drugs today. And we do it one day at a time or whatever. And it's kind of excruciating. And then there's a lot of people, and we're noticing that in treatment and around here that so many people are able to get clean. And so very few are able to stay clean. So with this scientific way we begin to look at what's going on here, we're now talking about this idea of it's nothing to get clean. And how do we all get clean? Well, we just get a bunch of people around us that will watch us all day and make sure that we don't get on our phone and manage our money. And hopefully if they take our money away and take our car away and make sure we can't make any money and make sure we don't have a phone or a laptop, and then they watch us all night, we won't do drugs. Well, that's kind of how we do it. And then we get clean. And then this thing happens that we have to go on with life and we have to stay clean. And for me, I didn't even know what my own recovery was. I just assumed it was just this thing that I didn't do drugs and that was it. And I think as it's gone further on now, we're getting this idea of how would one do this business of actually staying clean? What is the practical way we do it? And right, when all these guys are here and we're working here, and I kind of want to talk to you guys about, like, it seems, and if you haven't been here and you haven't been in this room, there's at times it almost has a violent approach to it. It's violent. There is confrontation, there's anger, there's all this thing that you don't generally see in a treatment center. I mean, if you do, it's outbursts or something, but it's not condoned. It's not saying, hey, let's get in here and confront each other. Let's get in here and fight. Let's get in this room and fight. And I think that that's important, that we understand that it should feel that way, that this should be a fight for you because something's going on. And we figured out what we come to the realization is all these families on here, everyone comes to me, and what's happening is all strategies have failed. So basically what the arrival here is, and what somebody has when they reach bottom and when they get here, what they're just suggesting is every strategy has failed. So every parent that comes to me, every kid that comes to me, every family that comes to me, they just go, every one of my strategies has failed. I'm out of answers. I'm powerless. I'm unmanageable. I'm out of answers. And you get to this point where you understand that what we're doing here is we're asking you to take a look at unobserved failed strategies. So when we have this module, and I've taught for years, I've taught every single week of my life, the last 6 years, 7 years, I've taught this stuff, and every day in groups, and I've never developed a module. So I want to make sure that people out there understand kind of the format of what we're working on here. And it starts out with this, and we've always talked about mindfulness. We've always talked about awakening, and we've always talking about presence, and we're always talking about the current moment, and we're always talking about that kind of taking a look at yourself and waking up and self-awareness and the elimination of ego and the elimination of self. And we're always talking about that stuff. But in this format, what we're talking about is mindfulness as an approach that I can look at these failed strategies that have been unobserved in my life. Excuse me. That I never really recognized, but now I'm starting to see. And so, what it is we're confronting, and we're on the court. We have this kind of term here that we say somebody's getting on the court. And what they're putting on the court is they're putting on this strategy on the court, and this humility has to arise. And the humility to say, hey, everyone, take a look at my strategy. Take a look at this. Take a look at what I do behind the scenes. Take a look at how I operate. See if it's okay. And the humility to look and say that we're not confronting you. I'm not confronting you. I can't even find you. Something's in the way of you. What's in the way of you is your strategy. And your strategy has failed. So what's in the way of you is this idea that what we all just try to do is dominate, not be dominated. All we're doing is just trying to look good. And so you see everybody trying to look good. And then all of a sudden, what they're doing is they're having strategies to look good. If I say this, I'll look good to this person. If I say this, I'll look good to this person. If I act like this, I'll look good to this person. If this person pisses me off, I'll just give them the silent treatment and I'll dominate them and I'll be done with them. And if this person pisses me off, I'll yell at them. And if this person pisses me off, I'll just go talk about them behind their back. And if this person doesn't treat me the way, then I'll just talk and say things that aren't true about them. And I'll just make it up. And these strategies that we've developed as that are okay because we developed them in order to survive. This is what we do. We have this equipment as a human being, and we're given this equipment, and we get it when we're young. And then things like worry and danger and trauma and everything shows up. And what we do is we adopt these strategies to survive. We adopt strategies such as manipulation. Now, I had somebody tell me recently once that when they were young, there wasn't much food on the table when they were young. They were young and their mom was never home. So mom was never home when they were young. So they just adopted this strategy of survival that at 5:30, 6 p.m., they would just show up at the neighbor's house. They wouldn't go over and tell the neighbors they were hungry because they wanted to look good. So they would just show up there around dinner time, and they found out if they just went to a different neighbor every night, they would get some food. See, that's the kind of manipulation of the truth that we just adopt as a strategy to survive, and it's okay. But as we get older and as our life starts failing, we just end up that we don't have good relationships. And the reason we don't relate well with people is we have these unobserved strategies that we do that turn people off, that end up, what happens is the strategy fails. And then we have another strategy to combat that failed strategy. We say, all those people suck. All those people suck. I'm done with all those people. They all suck. It's all their fault. And we blame. And that's our strategy to combat the failed strategy, is blame. So the first part of the module says, take a look. Mindfulness means be calm enough and take a look at your failed strategies, these unobserved things that you're doing that you now have to observe. And the violent confrontation that happens in this room is not somebody confronting. I'm not confronting you. I'm saying, look at this strategy you're trying to employ. It's a terrible one. And the humility says, hey, me, the facilitator, or you, the group, then takes the individual, and says, put the strategy out here. Don't take offense. Just put the strategy right here, and let's all put it on trial and see if it's guilty. And if it's guilty, it's fine. Just don't do that no more. And so mindfulness is saying, let's take a look at these unobserved strategies. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to move to the second part of the module. And what we're going to do is we're going to see these failed strategies, and we're going to replace them with something else. We're going to replace failed strategies with values. We're going to put things right here that aren't strategies. They're governing bodies. They're rules. They're saying, I live my relationships with my word.
It's all that's important that I keep my word. It's all that important that I stick to the truth. It's all the important that I commit. It's all the importance that I have integrity, that I'm dealing with that person in the relationship. You know, we've adopted this other strategy that we seemingly don't deal with the person that we're in the relationship with. We don't. We're in a relationship with so-and-so, but we'll talk about them to everyone else but them. And then we're in a fake relationship with them. We're in a smile and say hi and we're good and everything's fine. But then we let the rest of the world know that this relationship sucks. We tell them. And then people see us. They see us like communicate with that person. They go, wait, what are you doing? I thought that relationship sucked. So the last part of this game is relationship. So this thing that we're doing is this practice of mindfulness to look at these strategies. If you listen to Evan and I talk at the end of the thing, we said, as we've boiled down to what recovery is simple. It's learning to relate. That's it. It's learning to relate. And now you take it backwards. You say, I'm learning to relate. I'm learning these strategies. Now you notice that with our equipment, this thing that's up to looking good, this voice in our head that wants to look good, that wants to manipulate, that wants to do this. If you take a look at it, what you're going to notice is it never cares about deeper connections. It never cares about love. It never cares about success. What it cares about, this equipment that we have, this unobserved strategies that we have, is they're not strategies for success. They're not strategies for love. They're not strategies for connection. They're all strategies to look good. They're all strategies that allow you to fail, but be okay with it because it's not your fault. They allow you to fail and be okay because you can blame someone else. You can change the truth about the situation. You can say, yes, I don't have a car. That's because the judge took my car, or it got impounded because my boyfriend did it. And that good. But the fact is you don't have a car. That's the fact. And we have a hard time. People have a hard time in this lab when you first arrive here. You have a hard time saying, I don't have a car, without an excuse coming behind it. I don't have any money. I don't have a career. My family and I don't get along. There always seems to be a reason or a justification for all those things. And so when we get to a point where we can just say it factually, I don't have a car. I don't have a career. I don't have any money. I don't have any friends. I don't have any connection. Now we can start building again when you get there. And you can start using it. You can start saying, why? Well, I've got these unobserved strategies that I do. I talk behind people's back. I manipulate. I lie. I cheat. And we all do this. But some of us observe it and we might be getting better and some of us aren't. It's not a problem. If I'm confronted on one of my failed strategies, then maybe we can just call it a strategy. So we replace failed strategies with values. And what these values say is they put these values and fundamental things, the way we live our life, they determine who we go into the relationship with. They determine if we're in a relationship with this person, and they then govern. And if all of our families here are trying to connect with your addict that's here, or we're trying to reconnect in the families, please understand that the only way that we connect is when we have shared values with people. Otherwise, we're just in a relationship of looking good. And these shared values need to be distinguished. They need to be talked about. And so what we're doing is we're replacing strategies with values. And we're saying, I can't use these strategies anymore. They don't work in the real world. What works is honor, dignity, my word, commitment, integrity, truthfulness, standing for things. That's what works. And so you have to replace these strategies that you thought worked with these. You know, it's always somebody going to a job interview and then they tell me, well, I'm going to my job interview, but I'm not going to tell them I'm a felon. I'm just going to hope. And then they come back 3 weeks later and they're fired. And they go, well, they found out I had a background check. That's a failed strategy. That's a failed strategy in replacement of the truth. So what happened to the truth? What happened to walking and just saying the truth? Well, what happens is we give up these values because we want what we want when we want it. And we want to look good. And we want what we want when we want it. We want the job, but we don't want to do the work to take it. We want the apartment, but we don't want the credit check. We don't want to have to do the credit check. We want a way around that. Somebody co-sign for me. Somebody just make it happen for me. Oh, they want me to show income for 2 years. That ain't going to work. I'm going to try to find a different way to buy a house. I'm going to manipulate the situation. No, you got to do it the right way. I'm going to get a car. Mom, co-sign for me. I don't want to have to be truthful. I don't want to do it. I don't want to fix my credit. These stuff is hard. Replacing our strategies with values. And when you're here in this room, I want to say, if you feel that you're being confronted, show me you. Show me you. You can't show me you. What's being confronted is a strategy, a failed one. And if we don't confront that failed strategy, you're going to leave here and you're going to do it again. You're just going to continue that same behavior and look at the pattern. Look at the pattern of starting a commitment to something, doing something, and then ending it or quitting it and saying, all those people suck. Whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your family. Notice, just take a look. How many times, I remember I got fired from Alberto for manipulating the truth. There was like 190 workers there. I truly believed in my mind that Alberto was going to go out of business. I thought, man, how are they going to make it without me? And I was like, oh, and I remember driving by, and if you drive by 167, you can see the Alberto factory right there in Kent. You can see it. And I remember looking at the factory and go, all those people got me wrong. They don't understand. They're all stupid. I was high. I was lying. But I couldn't face that. I couldn't face that fact that I failed. And it was because of my failed manipulative strategies and the way I was. I wasn't honest. I wasn't anything. But then all those people suck. And then I remember my family. All those people suck. They all need to change. Oh, they'll come back later. And it was every relationship and every girlfriend's family. I always had girlfriends, and they always had great families and great people. I don't talk to them anymore. They don't talk to me. It's not like I even, if they see me, I probably come over and they go, oh, there's that failed strategy. You know, but show me you. So if you're taking things personal and we're in this room and you take it personal, that's because you're trying to make me think that you are your strategy, that there's no space between you and that strategy. And then it's like this thing, like I'm confronting a strategy and you're taking it personal because you're going, no, I didn't do it. You did it. Blame, justification, rationalization. And people are confronting, and it's like we're talking in circles here sometimes. Like, can't believe it. So this formula, I want anyone on here to, if you don't understand what I'm saying here with this module and you don't see it, you know, it's just a simple thing that says mindfulness is a practice, and it's an all day, everyday thing of paying attention. And we're saying and suggesting that you pay attention to your current strategies in your life. Pay attention to the strategies that you're using. Pay attention to your motivation. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your experience. Mindfulness means to pay attention. And there's several things that you need to pay attention to. The last thing being, and the only thing being that you don't need to pay attention to, is how everyone else is behaving. That's the only thing you don't need to pay attention to. Now imagine how much time you spend paying attention to that. And it takes up a lot of time when you pay attention to how everybody else is behaving. So mindfulness says, don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to your experience. Pay attention to how your body feels. Pay attention to your strategies when dealing with your relationships. Pay attention to your values and your fundamentals. Pay attention to the things that you hold above all else, that you hold to be the most important things. Pay attention to those. Pay attention to new strategies. Pay attention to creation. Pay attention to tomorrow. Pay attention to what you're going to do to inspire people. That's mindfulness, all of it. And it's a lifelong practice. It's not going to get done. It's just something we have to do every day to get a little better, hopefully. And then these values, distinguish your values. If you're in a relationship with somebody, have you discussed what you both hold true? Have you discussed what the relationship is based on? Is it based on truth, commitment to each other, keeping your word, never lying? What is it based on? Or is it based on looking good? Is it based on manipulation? Is it based on, you know, we just fight and try to dominate each other. I'm now in power because he screwed up. Oh, now he's made up to me. Now I'm in power. Then there's a power struggle. So most relationships just aren't based upon values. They're all just a power struggle. And it works, you know, for a little while. This power struggle works. And then all of a sudden the power struggle stops working. And all of a sudden, then we're left with no values and two people just trying to look good. And it's a manipulation and a fight and dominate and not be dominated. And it just doesn't work. So if you are in a relationship, if you're in a relationship with a company that you buy lumber from, what are their values? Do you buy lumber from crooks? Or do you buy lumber from a company that that has value and keeps their word? Probably. Do you quit doing business with any business that doesn't keep their word? I think you do. Then why do you do business with a human being that doesn't keep their word? Why do you stay in business with them? And that's the thing that we've had to learn over time. And so as we're here, we're finally getting to this game of relationship, which is the game of life. You wouldn't need recovery if there wasn't relationships. You could just be the same way you are now and it'd be fine. You could walk and pick some berries and eat some pork or whatever you did. And you could find some food and build a fire and you'd be alone and you wouldn't have to recover. But I'm sorry, here in this kind of what recovery is, learning to relate with our boss, learning to relate with our family, learning to relate with each other, and finally the ultimate game of learning to relate with our mate, the person that we're with, the person that we're in maybe a monogamous relationship or whatever relationship we're in. That's the final game. That's the toughest one. That's the hardest one. That's the one that'll rip you apart. That's the one that'll leave you decimated if you don't play it right. Believe me, I've been there. So all these things, I'm okay with all my relationships right now with my family. I'm okay with the relationships with my friends. I'm okay with the relationship with my team. I'm okay with most of the relationships with most of the clients. But there's some relationships you're just not okay. And that shows you that you still got work to do. So now you go backwards and you go, where's the values in the relationship? Have I discussed that? Then you go back further and you go, am I paying attention to the strategies that I'm employing here? They're probably fucked up strategies. And that's the failure of the relationship. So you can take the failure of a relationship and you can go right back to two things. You can go back to the values you hold true, and then you can go back to your strategies that you used and you employed. And so if you look across and back and forth at this model and you just look at it, it's not just a model for anyone that's getting sober. It's not a model for sobriety. It's a model for life. And it's saying everyone needs this. Your parents, they need mindfulness. Everyone needs mindfulness. Everyone needs to look at the strategies they're employing with each other in the game of relationship. And everybody needs to agree, what are my values? What do I govern my relationships? What value, if the other person doesn't have, am I willing to walk away from the relationship for? What do I stand for? And so I encourage anyone to ask me questions about it or ask these guys questions and whatever you guys want tonight. And if there's new people, please, we'll help you catch up. This is years people have been telling me to put together a model or do a book or something. And I've just kind of went rogue every week. So this is kind of like really the definition of all the work that's being done. And it was only coming here in this laboratory that I could see it clear. It was only coming here and seeing how in-depth it can be and seeing actually that the problem of failed relationships is the issue. That the way that we relate to each other, that the games we play, that the backdoor shit, that the trying to look good, the trying to fit in at all costs, and having a group of people that are just now learning to stand for something. Just now, how old are we? And for me, it was like 40 years old before I figured any of this out. I didn't stand for shit for 40 years of my life. Well, 22, I stood for shit at 18, and then I stopped. Drugs got in the way. We don't stand for things when we do drugs, and we forget our values, and we hang out with people that don't have values, and we compromise our values, and then we throw them out the window. And pretty soon we can't stand up for them anymore because we've given up so much of ourselves. We've given up so much of what we've held true. And now we feel shitty about ourselves. You don't feel shitty about yourself because you did drugs or whatever you did. You feel shitty because you compromised your values. You feel shitty because if you all had to go answer to the 12-year-old you couldn't have any answers for them. I love it. I'd love the 12-year-old of each of you to look at each one of you, or 12-year-old me, to go, what'd you do, dude? What happened? I thought we weren't going to be a liar. I thought we weren't going to deceive people. I thought we weren't going to lose all our money and be broke and be homeless. What happened, dude? I'd love for us each to have to answer to that young us, you know. So we'll take questions on it. We'll open up. But that's it. That's what's going on here. And it gets in this room. I just want all of you guys, and I want everyone here to know, if you feel like I'm confronting you, show me you. And try to grasp what I'm saying here. Because we're not talking about you. We're talking about what you did. We're trying to expose something that you did, not you. We're exposing something you did. And we're saying, don't do that. And then somebody takes that personal and says, and justifies and rationalizes and comes up with a reason why, or denies they did it. Wait, you did that. We're not saying you're bad. We're saying don't do that. Look, simple. You don't have to take it personal. Don't do that. Can't you see? People say, don't do that. Well, just don't do it. Okay. And then everyone thinks that they're not, that they're like they're the invisible man that everyone else doesn't see, you know, and it's just got to be known. And that's why this beautiful thing is starting to work, because everybody says, I saw you do that. And then the person goes, I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. We all saw it. We heard you. Okay. And now we're just putting something on trial. We're just putting what you did on trial. We're just putting a strategy that was employed on trial and say, listen, if you don't stop that strategy, you won't stay clean. That's it. It's the strategies that fail that make us powerless. Then you know what gives us power? Drugs. Because see, when we fail in our relationships, we feel powerless. We feel like a victim. And you know what makes, when we do drugs, we don't like feeling like a victim, but when we do drugs, we know exactly how we're going to feel. Exactly. Everyone in this room knows exactly how they feel when they blow out the hit. Everyone in this room knows exactly how they're going to feel when they take a drink. Everybody in this room knows exactly how they're going to feel when they smoke a pill. Everyone knows that. And the reason you run and go do that is because you feel powerless in your relationships. You feel powerless to make a difference in life. And that gives you power. I know it gives you power. You take that hit, power. You smoke that bowl, power. Boom. And power means I get to feel how I want to feel. And that's why this is important to go back to this module and say, this is actually how you get power without drugs. You eliminate your failed strategies. You replace those strategies with values. You stick to your values. You don't compromise your values. You get in a relationship with a person that shares those values, and you always work it out. You stay calm. And then rather than seek looking good, you seek connection deeper. So what is the object of our relationship? To connect deeper. Every time. What is the object of my relationship with recovery? To connect deeper with recovery. What is the object of my relationship with my boss? To connect deeper with my boss. Not look good. Not like not like get through it. Not like, obliged. Not like I have to. But actually me taking it upon myself. Okay, I'm in a relationship with my father. I'm going to take it upon myself to be a better daughter or son and connect deeper with my father. Boom. I'm going to do that. That's the object of the relationship. That's what we're after. So this thing has produced this. For everything. There's this thing that's been produced. And it's real easy, like, okay, I need values. Okay. Not strategies. Okay, good. And in order to see this, I have to observe. And in order to observe, I have to be mindful. If I'm not mindful, I'll sneak back to my old ways. And I'll begin to manipulate. I'll begin to take shortcuts. I'll want what I want when I want it. I'll ask for things when I don't want to work for things. I'll make the situation look different than it is so I can get what I want quicker. I'll lose all my money at the casino and figure it out later. Whatever it is that I'm up to, instead of values. No. So I want to say that we do a lot of what's called confrontational stuff in this room. And I want you guys to understand that you bring a strategy. If it's a good one, it should stand up to confrontation. If it's not, you'll feel like shit. And if you feel like shit, that's because you're just taking it personal. You're taking your strategy as you. And you have now become some strategy that you're so wrapped up in and worried about looking good that you don't even want to admit you're doing it. Like he said, if you're really good, you won't even know you're doing it. If you're very good, you won't even know that you don't know it. And that's when our life becomes this failed strategy. And so as we come back to what we are, no more drugs, learning to stay clean and be successful, because I think that you'd all agree that to stay clean. You want to be successful. You don't want to be a failure and try to stay clean. So you want to be successful. You want to be powerful. You want to be a leader, and you want to connect deeper in your relationships. I hope so. And if you do, that's what we're going to talk about. So go ahead and open it up, Ange, and
All right. Oh,
and let's call out new people and open it up and see what's going on.
yeah. All right, everybody. So the way you let me know that you have a question is there is a raise your hand feature in Zoom, and you can just click that, and then everybody kind of gets in line and I can see. If you can't figure out how to use that feature, no worries. You can just, there's Cameron. Cameron, you'll be first, but you can just literally raise your hands. Just be patient because there's quite a few screens. I can't see everybody at once, so just hang tight. Don't give up. I want to find you. I want to get to everybody. You can also unmute yourself, and I'll know that you did, and you can do it that way as well. So Cameron, let's get you unmuted. Cameron's tuning in from Arizona. He's usually there with the basement crew with everybody live. Can we, did we get you unmuted? Hi,
Hey, guys.
Cameron. Good to see ya. When are you coming home?
Next Friday.
Okay. Nice, nice long trip.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Super sunny, warm. It's beautiful down here.
Nice.
I just had a quick question for you though, Art. Yeah. Is there such thing as a positive strategy if your strategy contains values?
Yeah, they're all, everything's a strategy. Isn't kindness a strategy? Right?
Yeah.
Openness is a strategy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're replacing. That's exactly right. I mean, everything is there. Like, let's say you think and sit to yourself, I know there's a lot of people on here. I know moms. I know a lot of people on here that are having trouble dealing with their own son or daughter, and they don't talk to them. And I would ask them, what is your strategy to connect with your daughter or son? What is your strategy to reconnect and find a deeper connection with your loved one? What are you doing right now? And then you would have them look, and most likely the people that say, well, I'm not doing that, I'm in a bad relationship with my so-and-so daughter or son, then what they're going to next tell you is that they're right and their other person is wrong, that their sibling is wrong. And being right and making the other person wrong is a strategy to look good, but it's not a strategy to connect in a relationship. So you have to take the strategy out of looking good and replace it with one of value. Like, I want to have deeper connection and keep my word, be truthful and responsible and have integrity. And then that one replaces it. So yeah, everything is a strategy, and there's positive ones and negative ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You look good, Cam.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel good. I just got a sunburn today working on that roof. It's like 85 up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sweet. You look good too, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Nice. Thanks, Cam.
Yep.
I want to reiterate that. How many people are in a relationship right now, and if they really got honest with what their strategy is for the relationship, it's making the other person wrong and talking about their wrongness and saying how wrong they are. And then that strategy is called one of a victim. That's a victim strategy. That's a strategy to look good and have a failed relationship. You look real good as the victim because it's not your fault. Congratulations. But you don't have the person in your life. So congratulations, not your fault.
All right, who's next? I'm gonna scroll through and look for new people too.
Yeah.
You know who I saw? I saw Deanna Wilkins out there. Haven't seen Deanna in a long time. We'd love to say hi, Deanna, if you can turn your camera on. There's a lot of cameras turned off tonight. Maybe everybody's in their jammies tonight and don't want to be seen. But Deanna Wilkins, we'd love to say hi. All right, who else? We'll give her time.
There he goes.
We have Brian here.
Oh, Brian, you have a question. Brian in the basement got a question.
Awesome.
Speak up, Brian.
Yeah, can we speak up there? We want to hear you.
strategies. Yeah. Like what steps? Well, that's it.
Can you repeat his question, Art?
He's asking like, how do we eliminate these bad strategies? And that's it. It's just observing them.
Mm-hmm.
Observing them makes them turn into something. Like it makes them be nothing. A failed strategy, when you look at it and you just observe that you're doing it, you will stop doing it because you will see that it's falsely motivated. And then the first thing is to set your values and your goals to this relationship. Like if you, for instance, this one, I mean, if you really see that you're upset with somebody, but then you find out that you want a deeper relationship with them, but you're upset currently. Now you look, what's your strategy? What's your strategy to connect? What are you doing? And most likely what you're going to see, you're not. You have no strategy. What you have is a strategy to look good, not connect, but not be at fault. And that's going to fail for sure. Because both people are going to have the same strategy. Not my fault, not my fault. They did this to me. They did this to me. And then they both go talk about each other to anyone who will listen. And that's the observation of these strategies is how you get rid of them. And then the commitment to what you're going to do to connect deeper in your relationships.
That's why getting on the court's important, because you might not even know you're living life as a strategy until you do.
That's right. You might be turned into your strategy. You might just be your strategy. That just might be how you are. And you're so used to how you are that there's no space to even see what's going on. And so that's why mindfulness is the first step. It's the constant observation of what you're up to. This is what I'm up to. And this being right thing and making other people wrong is what most people are up to. Hi, Deanna.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I totally agree with that. And mindfulness becomes like a second job.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the first job.
That's right.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, getting from living where you're totally unaware and you're living out these strategies to live in values can be so painful at first.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because you're called to the mat.
Right.
You're embarrassed.
Totally.
Yeah, you're embarrassed and you're called on the court and you're called to the mat. And that's why humility is this thing that's got to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the kiddo?
Hanging in there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. He's still in California.
All right.
And
you look healthy and happy.
Why, thank you. I feel healthy and happy.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. Thank
so
you.
Good to see you, Deanna.
What's that?
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Thank you. This is great.
Go way back. Really good to see you. Glad you're here. All right. Who is next?
Now, Brian, his question. See, the problem is, Brian, you already know the answer, and you've already been doing it. Brian came here with tons of failed strategy. Brian came here with the big one. He had the silent treatment was one of Brian's. Putting on a show of how unhappy he was to us was a big one. He was Mr. Dark and mysterious. Yeah, isolated. He's in mental turmoil and everybody needs to stay away. And now those strategies are pretty much gone. He's just a happy person. What? Right? Yeah. So he's already done it. Don't let him fool you. Pretty big, amazing transformation in Brian, by the way.
Oh.
So, and by the way, a lot of this stuff, mindfulness, it's like when you see it and you see people practicing it and you see people practicing awareness, change doesn't always happen as quick as we want it to happen. But it's like, for me, I'm so close to these guys in here in this little area that it's like trying to watch a plant grow. You're frustrated because you're looking every day and you want the plant to grow. But if you leave for like a week and come back, there's growth. But if you stare at it, there's no growth. You can't see it. And so for me, it's just this thing where it's like, wow, watching the growth when you're doing this stuff is amazing. You just need a day off, and then you come back and everything's different. So it's beautiful.
Hey, Art.
Yeah.
Got a couple things for Brian here.
Okay, we got a couple things for Brian.
It's a little hard to read, but those are all straight A's there.
Okay, that's Brian's report card, and
Yes.
that's straight A's. Brian is 16 years old. There's mom.
Yeah.
Raising the roof. What were the grades a few months ago, Brian?
No grade at all.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
My grades were so bad that they didn't register as grades. they didn't even register on the scale. And now he's just kind of crushing school, back in baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't wait to go to a game.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there cheering. The whole crew, the whole basement crew.
Well, but Brian's success, and Brian's been here. What's happened is there's a lot of people that in this group, and a lot of people in this house, and a lot of staff, and a lot of people that really Brian respected and gave respect to, acted with respect, looked up to, and really wanted to impress. And so this wasn't the result of something it was a result of everybody's efforts. And we haven't always had that great of an environment to bring a youngster in, but this is the perfect one. And everybody here only would allow him to be a success. Nobody would allow him to do something stupid. Nobody would, allow for anything but his success. So I'm really proud of all the people here that helped you. And, they really made a difference in your life. And he keeps coming back every week or on the weekdays here. So we'll get to keep seeing him progress. Bobby has a question
Great.
or comment.
Yeah. I remember Jimbo said something that, like, when he said it, it reminded me of the last time I was here. And he said, I felt like you were talking about just me, all group.
Yeah.
And when you have all those strategies, and like that is your life and that's your identity, is like all strategies.
Yes.
Like when you are talking in the group about like running a racket and fronts and all these things, like you feel so insecure and you're like, why is he talking about me? You're uncomfortable, you're squirming in your seat. And like, I remember that feeling like, like, screw him. Like, why is he talking about, I know he's talking about me. You're insecure because you're living that way.
Yeah.
And then as you kind of like let go of those failed strategies and really practice the mindfulness, you start to see that, like, no, it's not talking about me. That's just life. Like just
people, all humans.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And like I remember hearing Jimbo say that, and I was like, oh God, I remember how that felt. Like thinking he was talking about me because my life was just consumed with failed strategies.
Yeah.
And fitting in, like I wanted to fit in, and it's like I remember you talking about a group last time I was here about fitting in, and I was like, I'm not trying to fit in. Like that's just me. It's like, oh my God, it's cringeworthy now.
Yeah.
And now like trying to live like we talked about it the other day about just starting with honesty and like, progressing and, pursuing more values after you get that first one down, like your word. And, like this morning and stuff, we're talking. It's like, you know what? Like let's just start the day out right. We're just gonna get everything out on the table, and it's funny now because it can change. It really does change quickly. Like when you accept it fully. For me, we talked about like being lukewarm. In my opinion, there is no lukewarm in the sense of honesty. You can't say I'm sometimes honest. No, that doesn't make sense.
That's right.
It just I don't know. I woke up, Art came and shook my leg. I popped right up just earlier, and for whatever reason, that was in my head about thinking. I'm sitting here today and being able to listen to you with an open mind and really hear what you're trying to say, because I'm not thinking he's talking about me.
Right. Not taking it personal.
Yeah, I'm not taking it personal, and it's such a more comfortable seat now that I can really listen to what's being said and really learn, rather than be insecure and hide, think that I'm being confronted myself. No, it's the failed strategy. I love that analogy, and I just that's what was on my mind.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think not only that, but like you when you get to that point where you can just sit and listen, this is absolute truth. And
Right.
you can feel that. It's not, there might be debates about religion, there might be debates about God, but there's no debate about this. This is just how it is.
Yeah.
It's real.
We've all been given this equipment, and this is what the equipment does. The equipment starts out and it's not there. We don't notice it. We're always present. We're kids and we're playing. And then life shows up. And then the equipment adjusts to life. And the equipment then takes on a life of its own. And then we become the equipment. And the equipment then teaches us how to get and survive and do and make our way and get what we want. And it fights for us. And then it takes on a life of its own and we become that equipment. And then we start doing drugs and we start failing. And when we get here, the same way, there's that book that says, what got you here won't get you there. It just keeps getting you here. So what got you here keeps getting you here. And that's not the act of not staying clean. What gets you here keeps you here. What gets you there is something else. Mm-hmm. And it's something else that you don't know about yourself. And you have to learn that to stay clean. And that's what's going on, is you're being confronted with what you didn't know about yourself. And the humility to take a look at it. And when we talk about honesty here, I like when we say honesty is a bone. It's a white, big bone. And only honesty is when there's no meat. If there's a little tab of meat on the bone, it ain't honesty. It's got to be a clean, white bone of truth. And so the act of getting here and confronting each other until we get to the bone. And then we know and trust that truth together. And then when that truth is trusted and known together, we all feel safe. And then it's easier to let go of your strategies when safety appears. Mm-hmm. And so that's what can go on in this lab if you let it. But you have to be prepared to be empty in here and to get confronted on anything that, and you can't, and being dishonest is also thinking that you need to confront somebody on something and not doing it.
Yeah.
That's dishonest. And being ready to be confronted. So yeah, the bone of truth it's important to understand that truth is a bone. It's not something that you can have a little meat on and go, oh yeah, that's true. No, it isn't. It's not clean. It's not clean. There's that one thing that's bugging me here. And if you're in a relationship with somebody and there's that one thing that's bugging you, that's no relationship. That's going to bug you. So you got to discuss that and get that off the bone. So it's beautiful. That's not
nice bone, Travis.
Yes.
Go on.
Okay, should we do this a quick little intermission on the contest?
Sure. Okay.
Okay. I can't believe how many texts I got. I got like a gazillion texts here. So let me see who the first one was. So let me just read all the different numbers people are guessing, and then the D hands will be first on the question next. But okay, so in this order, the D hands said 12.5, Sherry Hankemeyer 15, Roger Holman 14, Julie Molden 23 pounds. The Davises, Melinda says 23, Josh says 16, Troy says he gained 4. And then a number I don't know said 23. Tina Curtis said 28. Kristen Lindstrom says 23.
Wow. How fat did you guys think I was?
Preston, I can't count your answer, even though yours was right, because you can't count. You knew the answer. Nobody's been right. Shh, don't say the answer yet. No, nobody said the answer yet. Anna Lee says 12 pounds. Kathy Hewlett says 21. Jesse Duarte says 20. Guy Pennington says 18.
Ooh.
Stephen Birdie, 24. A number I don't know said 15. Okay, here's the right answer. But let me not read hers yet, but she's got the first right answer. So Angela Bottaluco said 15. Concha says 10.5. A number I don't know says 21. Sabrina Voss says 23. Judith says 13. Eileen Linegang says 17.5.
Oh.
A number I don't know. Oh, Sandy Andrews, 14 pounds. Oh, that's another right answer, but he wasn't first. Sorry.
Go ahead and say the
Hold
winner.
on, I will. Let me just finish. Okay, so there was only 2 right answers. We should just give them both a mug. We've got 2 mugs. So Christine Villalo with 17 pounds and Riley Cobb with 17 pounds. Nice job, guys. We'll give you both a mug. We got 2 mugs. We'll get you both a mug. Nice job. 17 pounds for Art. You know, if you could do this, Christine and Riley, if you can just pop me a message with your address, we'll mail you a mug.
Preston, that's a failed strategy.
I've been looking at that every time I go.
All right. The D hands were next in line. Where'd your raised hand go? And then Debbie Peterson will be next. I see you. Let's, where'd the D hands go? Did you guys still have a question?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Cole. Yes, there we go. It's Cole, because Megan Dehan's on here too. Let's see. I'm asking to unmute you. There we go. Hi, Cole.
I just wanted to say what's up, and that I'm bummed I missed out on a group tonight.
It's dark.
Yeah, that's about it. I know. I'm in the truck right now. I'm driving.
Okay.
Driving to Montana.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very cool. He's listening in though.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I will.
Later, buddy.
Later.
We're crossing state lines.
Yeah. Oh, we've already been. Angela lives in Pittsburgh,
Oh,
so
nice.
she always tunes in from Pittsburgh.
Angela Bottaluca lives in West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia. Well, she's a Steelers fan, so I thought it was Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Debbie Peterson, were you trying to raise your hand? Can we get you unmuted?
There.
Oh, hi.
Art, you look fantastic. Not that you were huge or anything, but you lost a lot more than that. You look very good.
Thank you.
10
pounds more
than
17.
10 pounds more than 17.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And the camera puts 10 pounds on, so that's saying
There you
something.
go.
No, Travis got me a slimming camera. That's what I like. Special for, yeah.
Heavier, but you look skinnier for some.
Oh, Travis, you got the fat camera.
He does. You're right. In person, you're right.
Next to the candy machine.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
Thank you, guys.
You look great, Art.
Thank you.
oh, thanks, Bill.
Oh, look at that. Look at the back. That's one of the black Battlefield mugs, it looks like. Oh.
Black ones, and Debbie wants one
I
bad.
want one. I'll pay whatever I want. $200.
All right. Well, with any donation, $100 or more, you'll get a mug. We've got some mugs. We don't have any black ones left, but we've got red ones.
Do it.
We probably have about 10 mugs left. So if there's anybody out there that really must have a mug, they're really cool. On our website, you can go to battlefielladdiction.com. Make $100 donation or above, and then just send me your address and we'll get you one.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
Okay.
It's fun to drink coffee out of those mugs. They're just so meaty. They're handcrafted and hand designed by a pottery place in Utah. And so they were very pricey to have made. And that's why we have that set at such a high price, because these darn things were like $50, no joke, each. All right. And the rest will go towards our scholarship fund. So, all right, guys.
Someone that's got a question about their kid, or a question about their family, or a question about, or they're new, Ange.
Yeah. Who do we got out there? Let me just scroll through. There's a lot of cameras off tonight. James Doherty. Hey, how are you doing?
Look at that kid. What's going on, man?
Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted. Can we get you? There we go.
What's up?
What's going on, man? Why haven't you been over here yet?
Hang on, I'm trying to pull it back on the main screen so I can see you guys.
Okay.
I'm doing good. How are you, Art?
Great, man. I want you to come over and come to group, man.
Yeah, I will. I've been meaning to get over there. I just work a lot, so.
Yeah.
Nice suspenders, James.
Logan likes your suspenders.
Say that again.
Logan's commenting on your suspenders.
Hi, Viz.
Yeah, I do need some suspenders, huh? Hey, I'm gonna mute myself again because it's like echoing through.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Good to see you, James. Really, you look great. Really good to see you. I know his mom watches every week on the recording. So really good to see you.
It's not dumb.
Travis, move the phone.
No, hold on.
Kim Zello's here from Alaska. Hi, Kim. Colette's here recovering from up north. Hey, Colette. Who else do we got? Yeah, just a lot of cameras off. I can't really tell. There's a couple users that just say Zoom user that I don't know who they are. They could be some new people. If you're new out there and this is your first solution group, welcome. We'd love to say hi. If you turn on your camera and we can see you, or unmute yourself, we can say hi.
I want to point out something really quick. And if anyone's on here and you're dealing with a relationship, most of what it is that we're doing here is relationship. And it's not about just addiction and recovery. It's also mostly and mainly about a relation. And I want to really, really state again, I will say if you're unhappy in one of your relationships right now, that it's probably 100% certainty that you're being right. And if you don't understand what that means, that you're being right. And I know whenever I say that you're being right, what I mean by that is you're pointing out how they're wrong and you're happy about that. Now, you don't know that you're happy about that, but you are because you're telling everybody about it. And you're suggesting to everybody how wrong the other person is. And I just want to point out that that's one of the major failed strategies in relationships, that people would rather be right than connected. They would rather be right than in love. And they would rather end the relationship as long as it's not their fault. So if you want to get back in the game and you want to find a way to connect with your loved one, because that's just what we have to do, then this is kind of the understanding. And that's probably what you're here for tonight. So if you're sitting out there and you're in a failed relationship, you can't seem to make it work and you feel powerless, well, go ahead and look and tell me that you're not being right. Tell me that you're not busy pointing out their wrongness. Tell me that you don't complain about it all the time. And just go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes. We can add the videos you have.
No, that was fine. So please, if that's something that you want to ask a question about, or if you ever want to get involved, that's actually what coaching is about. And that's actually what recovery is about. It's about giving up being right, sacrificing it, putting it down, and saying, that's the only thing I have to give up if I want to be happy. If I want to be happy and I want to be in love and I want to be connected, I just have to give up one thing. I have to give up being right. I have to give up being a victim. I have to give up saying it's not my fault. And then I have to take something on, and I have to take on a new strategy to connect. And I have to take on a new strategy to say, I'm going to be causing the matter of this relationship. I don't know if it's your mom. I don't know if it's your dad. I don't know if it's somebody that you're, playing a victim to. I don't know how long you've been doing it. Somebody that hurt you in high school or somebody that hurt you back in the day. I don't know how long. I know kids playing a victim to their parents, blaming their whole life on their parents. Now imagine how ridiculous that is. Really, if you look close at it. Actually turning out your life and throwing in the towel because your parents did what when you were 15 or 16. And it's time to give that up. And it's time to go, you know what I should do? I got one life. I got one chance to connect with the people that I'm supposedly in love with. I better work on it. And that's what this formula is about. It's about saying, go ahead and take a look. Take a look. You want to connect with somebody? Practice mindfulness. Calm down. Get to know yourself. Establish some values that you want to connect with them on. Look at these values. Talk about them. Share them. Commit to each other. Hey, when I say I'm going to be somewhere, you do too. We'll both do that then. When I say I'm going to the store, I go to the store. Yes. Oh, 2 questions here in the basement.
Yeah, and then I've got a text question. So go ahead, basement.
Okay, Allie.
In order so I have a brother who desperately want a relationship with.
We can't hear.
I'll repeat it.
But he's an active addiction, and I know that a lot of families probably struggle with it too. How do I get through to him? Is like my is full of anger and blame, and I can't get through to him.
Well, she's asking it. She has a brother that's in active in addiction, and she wants to connect. Well, that's one, very hard, and two, might be damaging, and then three, that's why we do what we do in coaching. Because what we do in coaching is we say every relationship with somebody that's in active addiction is a snowflake. Every relationship, every addict that's out there currently getting high, although they're not unique, although the circumstances are generally unique, what we've found. In one addict, you can be one way that's out there getting high, and you can enable them. In another addict, that won't be enabling, that'll be actually bringing them closer. In an addict that's out there getting high, you can say mean things to, and that addict might actually feel emotionally responsible for what those mean things are, and they might want to come back. And another addict drives them further away. And so every addict that's in active addiction is an absolute different case with different circumstances, with different resources surrounding them. And you have to know all of it before you engage in a relationship with an addict that's in active addiction. Because most people who engage in a relationship with an addict that's in active addiction, what they do is they throw gasoline on the fire. They don't help. And to actually learn all the circumstances of what would motivate that addict, whether it's emotional bottom they're going to hit, whether it's a financial bottom they're going to hit, all these things need to be accounted for before you begin that relationship, because you might do something wrong. You might do something to hurt the addict. And so it's best, until you know better, to step back until you have some coaching and you understand what to do. And if not, you might drive them further away, you might hurt them, and you might be missing an opportunity to bring them in. They might be ready for help, but you just don't say it right. You just don't do it right. So very important that you understand the circumstances. Okay. Thank you, though. Good question.
I've heard you say it a few times, and I don't know what you quite said. You said cause and what in the relationship?
Cause in the matter.
Cause in
the matter.
Cause in the matter. What's that mean?
To be cause in the matter of. It doesn't mean to be at fault. It means I'm going to be cause in the matter of this relationship. I'm going to be the cause that it gets better. That's my commitment. I'm going to be cause in the improvement of this getting better. I'm not going to be, that doesn't mean blame. That doesn't mean I'm at fault. That doesn't mean anything. It means to be cause in the matter. I'm going to be cause in the matter of winning the football game. I'm going to catch the touchdown. I'm going to make the block. I'm going to be cause in the matter. Yes. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be righteous. I'm not going to be right. I'm going to be cause in the matter of this connection. I will figure it out at all costs. If my sister is mad at me, my sister will not talk to me. I will drive and connect. I will go to her house. I will call her. I will talk until there is nothing left to be said. I will get down to the bone of truth. I will figure it out because I commit to my sister. I am going to make the relationship. It's not going to end. I'm not going to be right and make her wrong and say, we're done, and protect myself. I'm going to open up my arms and I say, I'm coming in closer. That's being cause in the matter of a relationship. Next question, text question, Ange.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first a comment and then a question. The comment I loved, Carrie Burrows said, Art should have to take off his sweatshirt and model his new figure.
See, they always want to see me without clothes on. I don't like it.
And then Becky Wiggins.
How much donation? Yeah.
We actually have a
maybe that's next week. Donations. When donations.
I'll stay here in a Speedo if you do enough.
Angie, we actually have that picture loaded up here. 1 second. There he is, just loving everybody.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Becky says, can Art talk about examples of our failed strategies as parents dealing with our addicts and each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Calling, wanting to prove that you love them, worried about love with it as somebody in active addiction, domination, control, enabling. I mean, anger, yelling, whatever comes about, not yelling, not confronting. I say the number one failed strategy with parents when addiction shows up is the fear to confront, the fear to actually say, I think you're using drugs, to actually confront. I think that's the number one failed strategy, is that maybe they're not actually high. Maybe they're telling me the truth. And I think not practicing their instinctual knowing and saying, no, I know something's up and we're going to figure out what's up, and allowing the addict to manipulate and say it's not so, and say I'm losing weight because I might have cancer, and to say whatever bullshit. So I would say the number one failed strategy of a parent of an addict is to not confront bullshit, to not have the confrontational skills to call it out. And what happens is the addict's bullshit just grows and grows and grows until it can no longer even be called bullshit. It's just, like I said, a failed strategy, or now how they are. And so now this blame and justification, and then the parent begins to parent out of guilt and feel guilt for whatever it is that they're, and now they begin to buy things and do things, and punishment and guilt and lecture and all these failed strategies that just don't work. So we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, okay, and we have two more. So I have one from Kristen from Mom's Group last week, and then Tracy Stanton will be our last question before we wrap up. But Kristen, I just wanted you to help clarify if was needed. So during Mom's Group last week that Kristen led, one of the questions in the group that they wanted to be asked of Art this week was, kids don't think very much of themselves. How do we address this? Can you explain that a little bit, Kristen, or was that the exact words?
That was pretty much the exact words. Yeah, how do we not maybe coddle them? How do we that kind of goes with call them on their bullshit too. That was something that I didn't ever do. I didn't ever call Ty on his bullshit because I was too nice. I didn't want him to get hurt. So, and I want him to think well of himself. So that kind of goes right along with what you're saying.
Generally, I don't ever see what people are talking about. Meaning, this idea that it's generally said by a mother, by the way. It's generally my son needs self-esteem, and my son doesn't think very highly of himself. I find that I just don't find that to be very true. And you have to really look closer at it to examine it. And I don't even want to really, I find it to be a lot of bullshit. Yeah, another strategy. Why do you fail, son? Because I just don't think very highly of myself. Well, right. I just don't buy it. I think that would be a very difficult process to not think very high. There's different things that are going on. They might not be good at talking to people, or they might not be good at things. But I don't know how one goes about the business of not thinking about very highly about themselves, or one goes about the business of thinking highly of themselves. I don't know either one, really. I mean, generally, it's just not like that. So we find if you can cut through that just is non-existent. That issue that everybody wants me to deal with their kid about them not thinking very highly of themselves really changes when they develop values. I think if you want your value as a human being, if you want to feel valuable, then you probably just need to develop values. I mean, that probably works. I mean, the word is called values. You know what I mean? We're wondering how you gain value as a human being. Well, let me guess. I would say values. That would be how a human would gain value. So if somebody's suffering from low self-esteem, it's probably because they're lying, or they're doing dirty things, or they're not keeping their word, or they don't have values. And somebody with values, commitment to their word, honesty, integrity, generally feels pretty good about themselves.
because it's values. So, you know, we've been doing this a long time, and we hadn't ever thrown in this massively key component because we were teaching people to get clean, and we didn't really throw in this huge component of staying clean, which is values, and how somebody then would feel valuable. And the only way a human being would feel valuable about themselves is to establish values. In my opinion, I might be wrong. You might be able to feel valuable about yourself with having no values. Show me. I would find it amazing if somebody could pull that off. Well, I have no values. I stand for nothing, but I feel amazing about myself. I don't think so. Okay, great question.
All right, our final question before we got to wrap it up. So Tracy Stanton. Oh, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we still couldn't hear you. Now you're muted.
She's sleeping.
She's healing. She's healing from a surgery right now. So Tracy, you're unmuted now, but we still can't hear you. So I think your microphone is not working, even though you're unmuted. Darn. Sorry, if you want to text me your question real quick, if it gets here quick enough before we wrap up, we can address the question. Yeah, because you're unmuted, but it's just not working. But yeah, that's Bobby's mom, and she's healing right now from a surgery. So she's tuning in from bed because of that.
We ready to close it up?
Yeah, sorry, Tracy, we just can't hear you.
I just want to close it up tonight with relationship. And I just want everyone on here, and I really want to impress upon, just to continue and piggybacking off what me and Evan talked about at the end of last week's solution group. And we talked about what we're all here really discussing. And what we're all here really discussing is not drug use. That's part of a problem of a failed strategy and a failed relationship. And we're not here discussing anything other than how do we connect deeper with each other. And if that's not the goal, then I don't know what we're doing. So this goal of how do we connect deeper in our relationships. And I think that everyone on here, if you need help with that, this is what we're talking about. And get it and do it. You're wasting time. So I hope that people aren't saving their relationships for later and they're going to figure it out later, because you just don't know. And I'm imploring you to look at this formula. Angie will put it up on the Family's Battle, I think, maybe, or have it out for you guys in Mom's group. So anybody want to work on it and explore it deeper, please do it with us. And once again, what a great energy. Good job tonight, Travis. Yes. Great job. Yes. Travis did an amazing job. It was seamless. We'll work on the sound for next week, but the music and the production was great. And watching everyone dance, it made me cry at the beginning. And watching Travis run through this made me cry. And watching everybody step up and do all this stuff is amazing. And so once again, it's a great honor to come into your guys' houses. And thank you for coming here and joining us. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. We'll see you moms tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Good night. Good night.